uh, Jurisprudence and Legal Theory in English Language, Legal Personality Chapter, second part. In the last class, that is lecture 8 in legal theory, I completed meaning definition of legal person, different kinds of legal person, and I started different peculiar categories of legal person, namely lower animal, dead person, unborn. Yesterday, I started the legal status of unborn person, and I have almost completed. And suddenly, the cell phone was switched off just before 1 minute of completion of unborn. I will complete the remaining points of unborn and then proceed to dead person and lower animal, followed by idle and mass. So legal personality of unborn, I explained detail in the last class, and according to section 15 of the Transfer of Property Act, property can be transferred in favor of the unborn. And similarly, according to section 20 of the Hindu Succession Act, property can be inherited by unborn person if property is already distributed among the legal heirs. If the child is born, the property can be revoked as if the child was born before the death of this thing. Similarly, testamentary section also, the testator can execute will, providing some property to child to be born, that is unborn child. These are the various provisions relating to. In law of torts, what is the legal status of unborn? I explained with reference to Irish case and Canadian case and position in England, and in now Indian law, Transfer of Property Act, Succession Act also. And now there are criminal law provisions also are there, criminal law provisions, and section 312 to 317 of Indian Penal Code provide various provisions prescribing punishment for destruction of a child in mother's womb. If anybody commits an act causing miscarriage or destruction of child or incomplete abortion or illegally, that person is guilty of the offense and is sentenced to imprisonment up to 10 years and fine also. So this is it. Then this thing. Then there are one more legal provision is there. Prenatal Diagnostic Techniques Act 1994. Prenatal Diagnostic Techniques Act 1994. Recent past, determination of sex in India is an offence. So many people, particularly rural mass, are determining whether the child is male or female, whether the child in mother's womb is child or female. If it is detected that the child is female, so many parents are, particularly in rural areas, they are avoiding birth of female child and resorting to abortion. In order to eradicate this practice, this and government passed Prenatal Diagnostic Techniques Act 1994. If anybody conducts the test, it is an offence and punishable up to 3 years imprisonment and fine, and the license of the doctor also may be cancelled. So that is one. Another thing is Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act 1971 was passed in India. Subsequently, it is 2017. So many amendments were passed. This act was revised in 1975. Subsequently, 2017 Amendment Act was passed. Now there is a bill, 2020 Medical Termination of Pregnancy Bill 2020 is in progress. It brought about so many amendments ensuring the security of woman and child. So these are the various legislations part. Finally, section 416 of Indian Penal Code. According to 416 of Indian Penal Code, if a person, a pregnant woman found guilty of murder, he is given death sentence. That sentence is not executed immediately, because when the child is in her womb, and after the safe delivery of the child, after the child is delivered, after delivery only, after considerable length of time only, death sentence can be executed to that woman. So as such, the court may postpone the execution of death sentence of that woman, or in taking in keeping in mind the care of the child, the death sentence may be commuted to life imprisonment also. Accordingly, we have some breast case on this point. Mrs. Nalini, one of the convicts, main convicts of Rajiv Gandhi assassination case in 1991 May at Sri Perumbudur, when Rajiv Gandhi ji went to Sri Perumbudur for election campaign. Mrs. Nalini was one of the conspirator in this assassination. She was arrested, and all the accused convicts were sentenced to death sentence, and several appeals were made for mercy petition. For at last, Mrs. Sonia Gandhi appealed to the judiciary to commute Mrs. Nalini's death sentence into life imprisonment. Accordingly, her death sentence was commuted into life imprisonment. She has been undergoing life imprisonment in Vellore Jail, Tamil Nadu of India since May 1991. Nearly 30 years elapsed. Today, the previous present government, newly formed present government headed by Stalinji, DMK chief, made an appeal to government, central government, for release of the Rajiv Gandhi assassination case, including Nalini, and previous government also headed by Mrs. Jayalalitha made similar appeal for the release, but they have not yet been released. So these are the various provisions provided to child in mother's unborn child. Next topic for discussion is legal status of man and legal status of dead man or legal status of dead person. So now old position and present position. So dead person, if human being, dead person prior to death was a human being. Human being gets rights. Human being gets rights by birth, rights and duties by birth. But dead man, the rights and duties conferred on, that is legal personality conferred on a human being ceases to exist with death. So the rights and duties also die on death of the legal person, and the dead person can no more exercise rights and duties, can no more exercise rights, and cannot have any obligation or duties on death, as enshrined in Actio Personality Moriter Cum Persona. This means cause of action ends with death of the person. Suppose a death of a person is there, he has liability, he dies, the creditor cannot sue him. But on the ground that Actio Personalis Moriter Cum Persona is old law. And one more old law is the dead person can suffer no wrong, nisi bonum. The dead person can, one more maxim is, the dead person can suffer no wrong, that is nisi bonum. And no good of the deceased. We should not speak. We should speak nothing about good of deceased, as per maxim de mortius nil nisi bonum. So dead person, we should not speak bad about dead person. We should speak about dead man only. Dead man only. It is enshrined in Latin maxim de mortius nil nisi bonum. So when a dead person is there, we must salute the dead body, corpse of the dead body. We should respect it like a godly, as if we worship God. We must not speak anything bad about a dead person. That is the content, meaning of this particular thing. So originally speaking, the dead person loses rights and liabilities, that is legal personality on death. So the legal personality dies with death, and he can no more exercise any rights, he can no more have any obligation under law, that is old law, because this dead person can suffer no wrong nisi bonum. Similarly, we should speak nothing. We should not speak anything bad about dead man, but we should speak about good about dead person, as per the maxim de Mauritius nil nisi bonum. This is the yes. So when a dead person is having any liability, no case can be filed as laid down in Actio Personalis Moritur Cum Persona. This topic I discussed in detail in law of its lecture, but the present position is this old position Actio Personalis Moritur Cum Persona is no more a law. Law has conferred some special rights, legal personality on dead person, legal personality on dead person for rights and duties. However, the dead person cannot speak, cannot be treated as in existence. His legal heir can represent on behalf of the dead person. Suppose when dead person, if anybody made a defamatory statement on dead person, any person made defamation on dead person, it indirectly affects the blood relations, wife, children, etc. They can have cause of action against this. Suppose the dead person is having some liability, the creditor can file a case against the legal heir. So the creditor, the reason is, if dead person left property, the legal heirs are distributing. When dead person is having liability, at the same time, when the legal heirs are enjoying the assets and properties of the dead person, at the same time they are under obligation to repay the liability on the concept of pious obligation, which we studied in joint family. So that is why these are the various issues. Present position is the present position Actio Personalis Moritur Cum Persona is no more a law. The dead person also has been conferred so many rights and duties, and the legal heirs can represent on behalf of the dead persons, and others can file a case against the legal heirs of the dead person. Dead person. So what are the provisions that are conferred on dead person according to various laws? So how the interest of the here everybody every person has, what are the various interests, how legal personality is conferred on a dead person, how various provisions are provided to acknowledge legal personality to dead person, we have to do. Number one, every person has a right to have decent burial and funeral. But how a living person is having so many rights and rights to protect his life and personal liberty, at the same time, even after death also, he can have desire to have decent funeral and burial. For example, if a homeless man died on road, a homeless man is dead on road, and that dead body also must be deserves decent burial or cremation. It is the duty of the state to provide necessary arrangements and see that the dead body is buried decently or cremated decently as per the religious faith. Suppose if that dead person is Christian, according to Christian faith, Hindu, according to Hindu norms, Mohammedan, according to Mohammedan religious rites and ceremonies, the body could be buried or cremated. So similarly, a body must be, if anybody makes, if anybody commits an act affecting the dignity of the dead body or corpse, that person is punished according to criminal law. Section 297 of Indian Penal Code, any act amounting to indignity of any corpse is punishable under section 297. So if a dead body, if because of it is dead body, nobody should speak wrong about it. So if a man who died on road, a homeless man died on road, must be cremated in a decent way, cremated or buried in a decent way as per his religious faith. This the Supreme Court in Akshay Adhikar Abhiyan versus Union of India held that even a homeless man found dead on road has a right of decent burial or cremation as per his or her religious faith. This is this. According to any act amounting to indignity of any human corpse is punishable under section 297. Similarly, a dead person, if any person is having self-acquired property, he is of the opinion that he cannot survive for a long time, he is at the age of 70 plus or 80 plus or 90 plus, he is sure that he is going to die shortly, and these property is self-acquired property, he can execute will. This we can mention how the property is to be distributed among his legal heirs should be contained, is presented in that particular will or testament. After his death, according to the contents of the will only, the property should be distributed, because law must respect the voice of the deceased person as if he is alive today. So as per the content, if the contents of the will are deviated, that person will be punished. Similarly, if any dead person is there, one person died, if anybody speaks bad about, so he was a very corrupt man, he is a very bad man, he committed so many crimes like that, any defamatory false statements are made about the dead body, all the relatives, wife, children, etc., whoever is a defamatory statement to one person affecting another person on that ground, defamatory statement to one and defaming other. How? If mother is defamed as illegitimate one prostitute, his husband, children can bring legal action, defamatory action. Similarly, if mother dead body is there, if against mother dead body, she was woman, adulterous woman, she is some prostitute like that, if anybody made statement, his husband, children, wife, daughters, brothers, whoever, any will have cause of action to bring defamation suit, and because it is an offence, tortious liability, they can file a case for civil liability compensation. They can also file a criminal case under section 499. That person who made a defamatory statement is punishable under section 499. The prescribed punishment up to 3 years imprisonment is given under section 500 IPC. 499 defines defamation, 500 prescribes punishment for defamation up to 3 years imprisonment and fine. So these are these things. And finally, sometimes our Indians die in a foreign country due to some problem or other problem. That dead body is brought from foreign country to India in special flight, spending lakhs of rupees. So we cannot say that what is there, it is dead body, it is to be buried, it is to be cremated, it is to be burnt. Why should we spend a lot of money from America to here? It can be disposed of there itself. We cannot say, because though it is dead body, it is of lot of value. The bodies are brought in a special flight. If any soldier died in foreign country in war, during war time, or while attacking to enemy soldiers, that body is brought in a special flight and handed over to the relatives. The government will take every effort. Similarly, any Indian citizen die in foreign country, any engineer, doctor, or anything, the government will take lot of steps, spend lot of money. Similarly, if any boat accident is there, the bodies, in order to search the bodies, they will lakhs of rupees, even crores of rupees also they will do it. If any air crash is there, helicopter crash is there, so many helicopters will search for the bodies. We cannot say that what is the use of the bodies are to be destroyed. Like that, we should not keep quiet. We must spend lakhs and crores to bring the body. That is how the legal personality is conferred on dead person, not only in a country, in all the global countries, the legal dead person also enjoys legal custody. So the third most important topic is lower animal or animals, old law, present law. So generally, animals are lower animals are not human beings. They are neither human beings nor artificial persons, but they do not have any. They are just like property of some. They are the subjects or objects of human beings. So legal property, lower animals or animals do not have any legal personality. They are almost some movable property of human beings. Human beings. They cannot shoe and they cannot be shoed. However, their master can shoe and can be shoed. Suppose they are the property in the hands of some private person. So that is why lower animals do not have. Salmond said that Salmond regards lower animals or animals as mere objects of rights and duties. Rights and duties. They are only mere objects of rights and duties. They cannot have any rights. They do not have any duty. Any duty. This is the position. Now, however, in olden days, legal personality was conferred on animals. In olden days, animals were possessing legal rights and duties. Legal rights and duties. Suppose in olden days, if any animal killed a person, killed a man or woman or anybody, that animal was stoned to death. It was killed by stoning, and its flesh was remained. Its flesh was left uneaten. Nobody may. That animal, suppose any dangerous animal or ox or ox or bullock killed somebody, or any dangerous animal or non-dangerous animal killed, that animal was punished by stoning it was stoned to death and its flesh was left uneaten. That type of punishment was given. During Mughal Empire and in King Jahangir period, in Mughal Empire, one bullock was brought and present before the King Jahangir in Mughal Empire for having committed crime. So that was one incident. So in old law, legal personality was conferred on animal. They had rights and duties. If they commit any crime, they were punished. This thing. But the present law, the law has not conferred any rights and duties on lower animal, but some legislations were passed to protect the interests of the lower animals, whether dangerous animals or non-dangerous animals. Some laws are passed. So here similar laws protecting the interests of animals were there. So what are the various provisions we have to discuss? In law of torts in India, there was a concept center rule. The owner of an animal is liable. Suppose animals are categorized as two categories: fera nature and mensura nature. The animals are non-dangerous animals and dangerous animals. Non-dangerous animals means cows, buffaloes, ox, horse, such type of animals are non-dangerous animals. Tiger, lion, elephants, they are called dangerous animals. So whether if suppose any dangerous in forest, any tiger or lion killed anybody, so there is no owner specifically, but the government has to take care of should take care and see that. Suppose if any animal causes injury or kills somebody in zoo, that zoo authorities will be liable for the death of that person. So if it is in animal, if it is in forest, the government should take necessary precautions. Suppose if any dangerous animals are brought up in case of Dubai, we found that those people, how we maintain dogs, they maintain tigers, lions also. If they cause any harm, that owner is liable. In a circus, dangerous animals will be there. If they cause any harm, the owner will be liable. Suppose in that the negligence need not be proved, but in a gentle beast like cow, buffalo, this thing, suppose your cow is there, naturally your cow or ox, they do not cause any harm, but sometimes they cause harms. If you know that your cow or buffalo will cause harm, you must keep it at your peril and see that your cow or buffalo should not cause any harm to the person who enters into your land. That is so. So here, even though these animals cause any harm, others cause any harm, the owner can sue and others can sue. But here, the relation between owner and animal is not vicarious liability. Suppose if the liability is relation between the owner of the animal and animal is like vicarious liability, then legal personality is conferred on animals. But here the liability is not vicarious liability like master and servant, principal and agent, employer and independent contractor, because both are human beings, they possess rights and duties. Here one is a human being with legal personality, other is property without any legal personality to sue or be sued. So that is why here the relation between when master servant works on behalf of master, that is the principle is vicarious liability. When an agent works on behalf of master, it is vicarious liability. Both are human beings, they have rights and duties, so that is different. Legal personality is conferred on both the parties. But with reference to owner and animal, it is only strict liability. Strict liability means irrespective of negligence on the part of defendant, the defendant is liable. That is strict liability. There are some exceptions are there. So here, since the liability between master and its animal is only strict liability, so legal personality is not there. But for the protection of animal, so many laws are there. So center rule, the master is liable. Suppose if anybody causes injury or loss to the animals, he owner of the animal can file a case. Now suppose distress damage peasant. Suppose my cows and buffaloes went to fields and nibbled the crop of my neighbor, my some farmer. Then that farmer can file a case against me for payment of that money. So if he seizes my animal, he must keep them in safe custody, spend reasonable expenses, and he can recover me. But for the reason that my animals entered into his land, he should not kill them, he should not sell them to somebody. These aspects I explained in detail in this thing. So this is what is called further the government for protection of animals, wild animals and otherwise passed so many legislation. Such legislations are there. So Wildlife Protection Act 1972 is there. So the prevention of criminal crimes against these wild animals are part and parcel of environment. The Article 48A, the directive principles of state policy, the state must endeavor to maintain free and free and pollution free environment and protect wildlife, directive principles of state policy. So many provisions are made. So like this, in India, this for protection of wildlife, some legislations are passed. So this is the position with reference to Wildlife Protection Act. Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act 1960 was passed. Wildlife Protection Act 1972 was passed. The fundamental duty now of Article 14A, the duty to maintain pollution-free environment and forests which contain wildlife. So if anybody commits any a crime against wildlife, he is punished. Salman's case is the best example on this point. And here direct article part 4 of the Indian Constitution, part 4 directive principles of state policy, article 48A envisages protection of environment, and the state must the state must take all necessary steps for protection of environment and forests containing wildlife. These are the various aspects with reference to lower animals. Next topic is the artificial. So we have completed so far natural person and legal personality, and legal personality in respect of some special cases, unborn, dead man, and lower animal we have completed. Next, here legal personality by birth, that is rights and duties are available by birth, that is natural person. Rights and duties are conferred on certain peculiar persons, that is unborn, dead man, and lower animals. These rights and duties are provided or created or conferred by state or law. And another, in last category is the rights and duties are conferred, or legal personality is conferred on some technical process by some incorporation or by some legal process, registration, etc. That is that category, corporation, company or corporation is there, ideal is there, mass are there. Now we discuss about the second category is artificial person or juristic person or fictitious person. Companies, corporation, and other things come under this. So we have to discuss about some two more important topics: idol and mask. Idol means some statue. Statutes of some great leaders of the country, idols of some gods, idol of Ganesh, idol of Rama, idol of Krishna, idol of Gandhiji, idol of Ambedkar ji, idol of Sardar Patel ji, this thing. So whether the legal personality is conferred on idol is the question. So the legal personality, idol is an artificial person and is subject to rights and duties. So idol is artificial person and is having rights and duties, because if law with things can give life even to a stone. If law thinks it can give life even to a stone, and the stone, the idol can breathe. Breathe in the sense inspiration and respiration process. Inspiration, expression, that is respiration process also can give. So a law confers legal personality, that is rights and duties, on idol. If law thinks it can give life even to a stone, if it gives life stone in the sense, then it can breathe. It can breathe as if it is like a human being. Trusts will be created. If anybody commits any act defaming, insulting any idol, he is punished. So there are so many problems are there. In some ways, whether I may be excused for, in one town, some great national leader was garlanded with chapels, and one leader in one state, the statues were demolished. And the names of the leaders I don't like to reveal, and so many agitations followed. It was viewed very seriously as a serious crime, but people did not keep quiet. What is there? It is only stone. If that stone is if a chapel garland is garlanded, what is the problem? If it is only just a stone, if it is demolished, what is the problem? Nobody can take it. Yet they take it like a very serious matter. If we go back to our childhood, Swami Vivekananda, the question of worship to idol was a matter of question, and that king did not acknowledge these idols as if like a god. Why you are worshipping the stones as if like a god? I don't like. Then Swami Vivekananda educated him. and he was brought to his he was brought Vivekananda was brought before him and asked him to solve the question. Then Vivekananda said, "You bring the big photograph of Chitrapat of Raja." So some Savak brought the servant brought the photograph of that king. Then he called one servant. "You spit on the photo of Raja." Then he was shivered, shy. "What, sir? What you are telling? If I do spit on the photo of our Raja will dehead me immediately. Why? It is only photograph. It is a paper. It is a glass. This is not your Raja. Your Raja is there, being seated on the throne. Why don't you spit on this thing?" He said. Then how you are treating this for Chitrapat as your Raja king? We must also treat these statues, idols, like God, like great leader to whom we are indebted throughout our life from generations to generations. That is the reason why, as a memory, as a token of our respect, we remember such great leaders and pay homage to them every year on their birth anniversary and death anniversary. Like that, as such, law confers legal status on idol, as if law, if thinks it can give life events can stone and make it speak and make it breathe. So this here, the Privy Council in Pramadnath Mullik versus Pandey Munna Kumar Mullik held that idol is a legal person and has right to have its location duly respected. A disinterested next friend appointed by court can represent it. This is just like Ram Janmabhoomi Babri Masjid issue, and Mohammedans say that is the place of a mosque, and Hindus say that is the place of Rama. This dispute continued for so many decades. Then present BJP government resolved this issue, satisfying both communities. And like this, so in this particular case, Privy Council in Pramadnath Mullik versus Pradyumna Kumar Mullik held that idol is a legal person. They can have the place of it can have idol is a legal person and has right to have its location duly respected. Where is that particular idol is to be placed? Where is the auspicious place? Where is the pious place? There at the idol must be idol must be located, and a disinterested person may be appointed. A trustee may be appointed. Trust can be created in the name of the idol, and he can represent all the matters. Either some person from responsible for some community, or court may appoint some responsible person who is impartial in all the cases. So similarly, in India also, idol possesses legal personality as recognized in Privy Council. England recognized legal personality of idol. India also legal personality was recognized. The relevant case in India is Supreme Court in Yogendranath Naskar versus Committee of Commissioner of IT. See, Yogendranath Naskar versus Commissioner of IT held that if idol is having a legal right, if it can own the property, it should also pay income tax. In this particular case, the Supreme Court conferred legal status or legal personality on idol. If the idol is having legal personality, having rights and duties, it can own property, it should also pay income tax. That is the decision. Indirectly, impliedly, legal personality was conferred on this thing. Further, section 495 to 490 of Indian Penal Code prescribe punishment for offence against idols. That is the collapse of leaders, national leaders, state level leaders, and opposite parties. So many problems took place in the recent past. In the recent past, some Ram Mandirs in one states they were collapsed, and some great national leaders statue was collapsed, and some state level and national level leaders statues were collapsed. So many agitations took place. Those people who are involved in that type of activity, if they are found guilty in demolishing or they causing indignity to those statues or idols, are punishable under section 295 to 298 of Indian Penal Code, and this idol and freedom of religion is respected, and various constitutional provisions are provided under Article 25 to 28 of the Indian Constitution. 25 to 28 of the Indian Constitution. This is the position. So next important topic for discussion is mosque. Next important topic for discussion is mosque. Mosque means we know the mosque, the place of worship of Mohammedans mosque. There had been a controversy as to the question. Some say that mosque is having legal personality, possessing rights and duties. Some say that mosques do not have any legal personality, cannot claim rights and duties. That is the problem. But anyway, this is whether mosque is having legal personality or not is left to the discretion of the judiciary, exercising their inherent power, inherent jurisdiction, taking into consideration the circumstances of the case, whether a particular case, whether the mosque is having legal personality, rights and duties, can sue and be sued, will be decided by the court depending upon the circumstances. In some cases, the courts said that mosques are having legal personality. In some cases, court said that mosques do not have legal personality. The High Court of Lahore in Maula Bucks Hafizuddin, All India Reporter 1925, held that mosques are having a legal personality. So the High Court of Lahore in Maula Bucks versus Hafizuddin held that the mosques are having a legal personality. They can own rights and duties and can sue and be sued. So this the mosque is a judicial person capable of being sued. But the Privy Council in Masjid Shahid Ganj versus Shiromani Gurudwara Prabandhak Committee held that Privy Council held that mosques do not have legal personality. Then Lahore High Court said mosques are having legal personality, could be sued, but Privy Council said that mosques are having legal personality, they could be sued. Whether suit can be whether the mosques are having legal personality or not can be decided by the court taking into consideration circumstances of the each and every case. This is the position. So coming to the next topic, corporation, company or corporation. Company or corporation means some objects other than natural persons, companies, corporations, government agencies, government organizations, even government are having legal personality subject to some rules of incorporation. A registered company, after registration, a company is born. Before registration, the company is not born. A company comes into existence after registration only. A company or corporation is an artificial person created by law with perpetual existence and common seal. So company is an artificial person because it cannot breathe, it cannot speak, it cannot walk. It is an artificial person created by law. A company is said to be born, company are said to be born after fulfilling certain formalities only. By memorandum of association, submission of memorandum, articles, registration is over, paying requisite fee and everything, and the company is said to be registered. When a company is registered, whether it is private company or public company, after registration, it is entered into the register of companies, then only that company is born. Before company, the child is almost in the company is said to be a child in mother's womb. After registration only, a company comes into existence. The directors can sue and be sued on his behalf. For all artificial persons and these peculiar persons, they do not act independently. They cannot own property independently, either through next friend or some responsible person relating to that particular relating to that, or a person appointed by the court will handle the property and can sue and be sued in case of lower animal, dead person, and unborn. Similarly, companies, corporation, firms, directors will act on behalf of companies, partners will act on behalf of uh, partnership firm. All these things are there. The companies are two categories: corporate sole and corporate aggregate. Corporate sole means incorporated organization will be there, hereditary monarch will be there. Just like a crown in crown in India, crown in UK will be there. East India Company Court of Directors will be there, like that. And secondly, incorporated company. In third category is a company registered and according to the legislation. In India, we have legislation in Companies Act 1956. It was revised and recodified in the year 2013. The Companies Act 2013 is the present act. If any company to be registered, all these aspects I explained in detail very elaborately in company law, dear friend. Please refer to my lectures, company law, for meaning, definition of company, promoters, memorandum of association, articles of association, registration, companies, commencement business, corporate will, lifting of the corporate will, Salmon versus Salmon and company. I have elaborately discussed these particular aspects. I request you to refer my company law notes. Further, I am requesting the students to make note what are the subjects I have covered. You please note. Some students are asking subject which are already covered. Some are asking company law. Company law I completed. Some are asking CPC. CPC already completed. If I have completed around 8 to 10 lectures, almost the whole syllabus might have been completed. Second thing is whole syllabus is completed. So only banking and insurance law I gave 2 lectures each. I gave some general lectures also. General lecture 2 or 3 general lectures also I have given. This I am doing jurisprudence. This is the 17th subject. This is 9th lecture. This is 9th lecture on jurisprudence, and 146th lecture from out of 16 some are asking labor law, some asking intellectual property law interpretation. I have strong, sincere, honest inclination to cover all the subjects, dear friend. But however, I have to take into consideration of common interest of 3-year LLB course and 5-year LLB course first. Secondly, I should take up most important topics from examination, most important subjects I will take up. Gradually I will complete. My ambition is to complete all the 35 subjects 100%, but God gives me enough life, enough term of life and enough strength. I will do. I'm not bothered. I'm least bothered how far my students are making use of my lectures. I don't know, because the next generation student love my lectures. If the most interested students will be there, but I may not be available. That is why having professed that, I am going to take up this chapter. So it is very, very difficult to take up this giant venture of 35 subjects. How up to what extent God gives me life and strength, I will complete. When 30 lectures are completed, 300 lectures are completed, mean 30 subjects will be likely to be completed. And 500 lectures are completed, some more subjects will be completed. How long my life will be there, strength will be there, I will exclusively do this job, not only for law students, 3-year LLB, 5-year LLB, pre-law, and also CA, ICW, ACS and all these things I will do. Dear friend, don't underestimate my lectures. I am doing very serious about the lecture. I am taking lot of preparation. Even the students of most prestigious institutions of legal studies in India, national law schools and others, how they are struggling to write papers. I am doing it. I take my book, the best book of my choice. I prepare. I take the first lay notes like this. Notes like this I will do it, and one side I will write the tentative notes, and I will refer the articles and other books and add in this left side, and I will put them in appropriate box and corner, and after that, after writing original writing book, and I will add certain things here, I will insert here. After that I will do like this I will complete the whole chapter. I work nearly 4 to 7 days for completing this lecture. After that rough draft is over, I will prepare a booklet like this, covering all the topics. Then how I am, this is nearly 18 to 20 pages material. If still I get any additional points I add here, I will do it systematically. I prepare for this lecture, this booklet. If a lecture this is typed, it will come nearly 20 pages typed. So whatever lectures I am covering maximum volume. First I take my book and take tentative notes and take the best book according to my capacity. I add important points in it. Then I go to internet and will collect the articles of coaching IAS centers and Lok Adalats, and articles and research papers published by the students of prestigious institution. Those articles are very good. But I can read 4 or 5 articles only and collect points. I collect points in one article. I'll be able to collect 2 or 3 sentences and put them in appropriate box. So like that I am doing. Suppose there are an innumerable number of articles, for 10, 20, 30 articles I can get, but it is not possible to read all the articles. So I am taking the matter very serious and sincerely I am doing. If you can make use of this, I am giving very up-to-date information. If the updated information is not available in the internet, I am contacting the subject expert, preferably the professors of national law schools and very eminent professors. I am collecting and getting information and doing this. If you can make use of this, but I have an inclination to publish this my lectures in a very revised shortest form of around 100 pages, less than 100 pages notes, small booklet. If publishers are now in unhappy condition, they won't be able to take up this publication. But some students are requesting me to give PDF, but I am not able to do because I don't know typing and this thing, and I am doing this job. I am able to record this, keeping my cell phone between 2 books on a table mat, and after that my son will publish it in YouTube. I don't have even a computer knowledge also more, and I don't have any equipment also. But I am doing this thing. You please remember. So I am the first person so far undertaken this big academic project of almost all 35 subjects, because I taught 28 subjects during examination for more than 15 years in CRD Law College, Elore. 28 subjects, 28 exams. All students used to come to my home one day before the exam. I started to teaching at 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening, continued up to 11 o'clock in the night. Nearly 4 to 5 hours. Whole subject I used to teach every year. Main exam 28 days, supplementary exam 28 days. In addition to that, VIPs come to my home in the morning to take the class and attend classes. All that service I have done free of cost. I did not accept anything out of service motive I have done, because I have taught all the subjects continuously for 4 or 5 hours. With that experience, I started writing study material on 24 subjects. With that experience, I published law books through Asia Law House. Asia Law House published my books. Out of nearly 35 subjects I have released through Asia Law House, Gogia Law Agency and Andhra Law House. and 35 subjects have been translated into Hindi for the first time, and remaining titles will be there. One publisher asked, took my consent for translating my books into some 6 languages, 4 South Indian languages, Gujarati and Marathi, Tamil, Kannada, Telugu, uh, and Malayalam. So, but when they are going to release, I don't know. But Hindi 25 titles have been released. There, I have also completed the R India Bar Guide, which is the voluminous book. Its price is 720. But I am doing all the books. I don't get money. Even for YouTube also, I have not received even 1 rupee. To get any income in YouTube, the number of views should be in lakhs and millions. I cannot expect lakhs and millions of views. In our law students, law students, how many students will attend classes? After attending classes, how many hours they will attend? So we don't know. But I wanted to take it as a challenge, because in so many, as per Bar Council, in so many law colleges, law departments, government aided colleges, university departments, the number of teachers are very, very low. Even private college can appoint teachers paying small remuneration. LLMs nets available, but appointing teachers in universities and aided colleges, government colleges, is a very lengthy process. Today governments are spending lot of money for welfare schemes. They find it difficult to allocate funds for these appoint recruitment of staff and everything, because as per Bar Council, for 1 3 year course, 10 lecturers should be there. In some government aided colleges, only 2 to 3 lecturers are there. In one university department is there, established as very reputed university in India. But for this courses, LLB 3 years, 5 years, LLM, PhD and all, 25 to 30 teachers are necessary. But there are not even 9 teachers in that. But even professors always move to outstations on various academic assignments, selection committees, seminars and everything. The teachers not available to teach, but students are preparing independently. So those students who love teaching, those students who can show interest to learn something, in order to facilitate that students. I am also law student one day. I am also law teacher. I physically witnessed the attitude of students today in law colleges. How many hours they attend classes, how many. So in spite of that, I am doing this job to facilitate those students who are interested to learn subject. I am taking all sincere efforts. I am making all hard work efforts to deliver these lectures. If you make use of this, because I cannot say for the last 2 years, no colleges, no classes, nothing else is there. But somewhere the colleges are now running online classes, the thing. But in one class, I am one subject, I told you several times, to complete one subject, 90 periods are necessary minimum. Some prestigious institutions are conducting more than 90 periods. In places where classes do not conduct properly, they are not conducting even 50 classes. But as per rule, minimum 90 hours, 91 hours are 90, 50 minutes are 90, 50 minutes should be required for one class. But within that period, I am completing within 10 hours, 8 to 10 hours, I am trying my level best to cover the whole syllabus, in order to complete maximum volume within less period, shortest period. More volume with less period I am doing. That is why within 10 to 12 classes, I am able to complete one subject. So legal theory is basis for all the subjects. That is why I want to take more and more classes. The 15 to 20 classes I am planning to take. I explained everything. After that, I will cover each and every subject one by one. Unfortunately, I don't know Hindi. I won't be able to teach in Hindi. I cannot speak Hindi fluently. In case I would be able to speak in Hindi, I would able to deliver lectures in Hindi also. But my basic mother tongue is Telugu. I belong to Andhra Pradesh. I salute my mother state, Andhra Pradesh, for my birth and brought up. I salute my host state, great Maharashtra, for great growth and development. I got well settled here. My home state is Andhra Pradesh, host state is Maharashtra. Now I am settled at Pune for time being, and now I am in Andhra Pradesh. Yeah, so my wife expired on 16th April. Uh, 16th April this year. I came to my native place, but I am not able to go back because of lockdown restrictions. I am here. But anyway, I started delivering lectures to my Telugu students because I can speak Telugu. I started delivering lectures in Telugu also. Um, because instead of delivering maximum English lectures, giving boring the student, let me do something to Telugu students. There is a lot of demand from Telugu students. They are requesting me, but there is demand from Hindi also. But I cannot speak Hindi fluently. I can manage with Hindi and Marathi as per requirement. So I am telling you, if students require good knowledge in law, they will be very well respected in courts. You will get lot of respect in courts because in academy a lawyer, though he doesn't have more practice, if he has good knowledgeable man, every even leading lawyers also will come and take his guidance. That is the importance of law. So if you are good academician, you will be able to interpret law very effectively. When you are posted as a judge in high court, judge in a division bench or full bench or constitutional bench, in interpretation your role will be played very well, and even chief justice also will appreciate you. You can supersede in knowledge in even chief justice as high court judge, that the situations are there, so that the knowledge is superior, and there are instances in division benches, so that is why knowledge is a great thing. But even you will receive well appreciation as though you are a high court judge, the chief justice will appreciate you. Though you are a supreme court judge, chief justice of India will appreciate you for your knowledge. So that is why don't neglect. Knowledge is always great. So unless you work hard, you cannot acquire knowledge. This type of messages I gave you so many times, but how many people will care a pin to my words? So anyway, having promised, I wanted to dedicate my life after retirement without doing any job, because I am only one man remained without doing job. All my friends retired before me and after me. Not only my friends, but also my teachers between the age group of 70 and 80 years. They are also doing jobs in universities, prestigious university and national institutes, drawing handsome salaries. But I wanted to do something because I did job and received salary for my personal purpose, selfish purpose, and I want to dedicate my residual part of life for the cause of legal education. Please cooperate and make use of my lectures. I will be very happy. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.